Hey everybody, you're listening to Shield Hero Weekly with the best guy ever.
Hey everybody out there, how's it going? What's up, Digi?
I believe we're on episode 7
Correct.
already. This is blowing by. This is why seasonal is so hard for me. Like we're like 4 days late, I think, maybe 5 days late on this. So the next episode's already going to be coming out in like a couple days, but
yeah.
I mean, I gotta tell you, Nate, I'm gonna be shocked if we can get 20 minutes out of this one.
Yeah, no, Digi, I think is this the worst episode so far? Without question. It wasn't like a nightmare, but was I checking out? And was the entire second half of the episode pure filler? The answer is yes. And I mean that literally, because I looked up the manga, and it's just not there. None of this hot spring shit happens. In the manga, at least.
That's really, I mean, on the one hand, I find that somewhat heartening.
Yeah.
To know that obviously that makes the anime even worse.
Correct.
But at the very least, it means that Shield Hero on the whole didn't magically go to shit in this episode.
Correct.
In the all the way, it wasn't Turtles all the way down for all the adaptations.
I'll just tell you, like the in the manga, I can't speak to light novel. Maybe this happens word for word in the light novel, but in the manga, like they just go in the same chapter. They go straight on to that like dragon that's hinted at the end. It's all in the same fucking chapter, so there's no downtime. It's all killer, no filler. That's why manga's better, people. But here we are with the anime.
This was definitely the episode where I started to feel like, man, this you could easily swap this episode into any other action fantasy show, and you would not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is completely generic.
We're leaning more into, I mean, as we did last episode, but like that was relatively fresh. We're continuing to lean into the just like relatively generic RPG quest line stuff that we do at the beginning here that I do find enjoyable, as I said last episode. But, in
the last one,
more.
there was a lot more that you could defend. Where,
true.
Like, you talked about all the RPG mechanics and all that shit, and I was kind of trying to keep an more open eye in this one for like, okay, am I going to see more of that? It really felt like I was watching Sword Art Online in this episode a little bit.
Oh, no.
Because that show similarly starts off with this very, very edgy conceit where it's like, oh, if you die in the game, you die for real, and like all the first few episodes are all about like characters dying and shit, and then you get into this weird pocket where it's just each episode is about Kirito meeting some girl and having like just a totally generic fantasy adventure that has nothing to do with the overarching plot, nothing to do with that grit and darkness that was happening. And this one it's like he's got two waifus fighting over his dick.
Look, okay, we have to separate the second half of the episode from the first half. We have to do it. It's literal filler. I can't defend it, and I don't even want to because I hated it and it sucked. But the first half, okay, we are deeply in now, officially, the cleaning up after the other heroes saga. That's what our boy is doing. And that at least still ties into this overarching thing about how the Shield hero is like the true good guy, and the other heroes, while considering themselves heroes, are actually thoughtless, spoiled brats who aren't really doing what's best for the world. They're just like rushing through this world, whatever, trying to get the quick cash-ins and whatnot. Yeah. As we see with the spirit guy gave the seed to this village here, whatever, that was supposed to cure their famine.
They're playing it like an MMO instead of thinking about it as a world that actually exists.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Like, questline complete, item obtained, it's done, no need to think about it anymore. But our Shield boy is more empathetic and whatnot. So, like, okay, so I'm defending the first half. The second half, let's just put it to bed right now. It sucked. I get it. Raftalia really likes Naozumi, and she's jealous of Firo. I understand.
It's just that I mean, I guess there was a bonding moment between Raph and Firo.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just that it's the most basic that it could be.
That's the effect of that is the sort of thing that could have been accomplished like in a like 2-second glance between these characters, like during a meaningful fight that was actually interesting and good, or something like that.
I'm struggling to even really remember what they went to do. I know they were trying to get like an egg or something. I was really checking out in that second half. Like,
I don't blame
the
you.
first half had some. It did have some intrigue in that. You know, again, we're emphasizing this trader spirit thing that he's got, where he, you know, cracks these deals with the guys, and we see that his shield skill tree has gotten really crazy. Like, he's got fuckloads of skills. And he can do things like just modify a monster, I guess.
Well, see, that was dope. I mean, it was specifically plant modification. So he's fighting this plant monster. He beats it. He unlocks the plant modification skill. But like, to just unpack that, there's honestly not that much to say. But it's just that like this is continuing to reflect, as I was saying before, the way that he is really thinking about how to fully problem solve, like, for the real world, not just surface level stuff. So instead of just finding a magic item, giving it, like, why the shield hero, the spear hero found, like, he heard this village was having a famine or whatever. He hears about an alchemist who sealed away a magic seed. I wonder why he might have done that. Oh, not going to worry about that. I'll just go get it, give it to this village, not thinking about that maybe it was sealed away for a reason. It was. And here comes Naofumi. First of all, he cleans up the mess, and then it's like he cleans up the mess. That's him doing his job. And then, as I was saying last episode, then he goes further beyond, and he thinks about, like, how can I make these people's lives better for them that also benefits me? He solves their fucking famine problem, but with his new plant modification skill. I still think that's a very satisfying
Does he
arc.
actually solve it in the end? Because did they buy the shit off of him?
What they bought was both the seeds and the fruit that he had already produced. I think a little bit of that. So like the seeds, he's created these seeds that will produce like faster in more abundance, and you know they're not monsters. So like the fact that they couldn't grow anything, I think was hopefully solved like by these seeds that will give him new produce.
What did they give him in the end? Because he was like, you guys have to give me something, and they're like, we already gave you all our money, and he was like, money's not the only thing there is. And then we see him like seemingly selling it all to that trader guy.
You know,
so I wasn't sure if he had actually given anything to the village.
I actually don't remember what he did get from them. I remember that scene, and it's implied that's like, we see that, I'm looking at this right now, we see the old man like glance off to the side, like, I don't have anything else to give. Maybe he just straight up didn't get anything.
Didn't give it to him.
I mean, I don't think
he gave them anything. I don't even think he helped, did he?
Wait a minute.
Because he sells all the shit to the other guy.
Maybe the fruit that we see in his back are just like, sure, they have a famine, but they had some amount of fruit. So maybe they gave the fruit they had on hand in trade for the seeds that would long term be the solution.
Okay,
that seems to be what's implied. I think, because he didn't grow that much. I don't know.
But my favorite moment in all that was just when he calls out the villagers for the fact that they just accepted this thing from a guy because he was called a hero.
Yeah.
That's the most S.H.I.E.L.D. hero moment in this episode to me. The most like, that's what I come to this show for. That biting cynicism of, because it's very believable. It's something that you know people will do. Like, you could even say it's comparable to like fake news. You know, like people will believe anything because it comes from a website that has it doesn't even have to be reputable in any way. Just as long as it has site design, you know, people will believe things that come from a website that looks like a news site. It's kind of like that. Just this. Oh yeah, he's the spear hero. Why would we doubt that he knows what he's doing? It's like, he's just some fucking gamer from another world. Like, he's nobody. He's no idea what's going on at all.
Now Fumi's learned to think critically about this stuff, and he's got no patience for these fucks who you know, just accept things at face value. Makes sense to me.
Another thing I did like is that he is slowly accruing all these titles and developing a sort of separate reputation that isn't even tied to his first one. Like,
I really like that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting how they said, "Oh, you're the guy who travels with the big Philolial, like the
savior of the heavenly
trader.
fowl." Yeah.
Right, and then like it's only a little bit later that they realize, "Oh shit, he's also the shield hero. Those are the same guy."
Yeah,
so it's
dope.
Interesting that those are two completely different threads of reputation he now has out there. You know, and like so it's not quite the. I like that because when you play certain games you can get titles. Like I think of the Tales of games have a title system, or a lot of MMOs have it, but they don't do anything. Like it's just for you as a player to be like, oh, I accrued all these titles. I really like that it actually affects the world in some way, that like people hear these titles and they have a sense of who these people are, but also that they don't associate them with the same person just out of pocket. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
That was my
all
favorite
cool stuff.
things, favorite details. But that's all in the first half before we get into the hot springs. Pretty much from the hot springs onward, it's just like, okay,
it sucks.
I see what this is.
This is
waifu shit.
There's one good thing that was just kind of funny. Like I know it wasn't like what people are here to see, but like I liked when Raphtalia was fantasized. Like the whole thing about Raphtalia being into Naofumi is very cute. We can all just like it on a surface level. It's nice. He saved her.
Sure.
She's not really his slave.
We just don't need to focus on it because it's
like
always
we get it.
there.
We fucking get it. There's nothing to prove.
It's like
here.
if it's present in all of the scenes where things are happening, we don't need to have a scene where nothing's happening just to focus on this thing we already know.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. But nonetheless, there were a couple lines that were funny, such as when Raphtalia is fantasizing about Naofumi being into her, and she's like, "Oh no, don't kiss me! I'll get pregnant, Naofumi, please."
That was pretty good.
And then she repeats that later. That got a chuckle out of me. That was like the only thing that was giving any life to this piece of shit second half. Just
another thing I'm gonna say personally.
Yeah.
I don't like Firo's voice.
No,
I think that she is. Because it's very, like, it's just too fake. Like, it sounds very unnatural. She's just trying to sound as cute as possible. Like, and it's... I don't know. I don't like the performance. I find it very awkward and stilted, kind of. It's like, oh, I'm super cute. Like, that's kind of the way it feels to me.
I see it.
To put on. I like it more when she's in bird form or when she's angrier. It's a little better. But it's just not the first choice I would have gone with for the performance.
Pretty much across the board, I like her more in bird form. She kicks serious ass. She's big and sassy and cool. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, did you notice, by the way, like, there's a scene in the second half where, like, Raphtalia is bringing back, like, 2 drinks to her and Naofumi, and she wants to share them together and stuff. There's a weird bit of animation where, like, Firo's mouth moves in a pretty, like, very strange seeming way, and Raphtalia, like, drinks the drink with, like, a different, not a style of animation, but it's like this weird, like, jerky animation scene. I don't know, I felt like someone different animated it, or, like, I don't know, something weird was going on there. Did you notice any of that? No?
I don't remember, but
whatever.
I'm sure it was just like some animator's unique style.
Yeah.
I'm looking at everything that Hidaka Rina, who plays Firo, has done.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's done any roles I particularly cared for. She played Last Order and Index, and I remember hating her voice too, even though I love Last Order. So
yeah, okay.
Maybe I'm just not a fan of Hidaka Rina in general. But
well, fair enough. I mean, I hate to say it, bro, but I got nothing else to say about this episode.
Dude, like I said, it would be a miracle if we could find 20 minutes to say about this one. Like, it was just, like you said, it's filler. It's
basically
literally filler.
Half-ep filler. The first stuff was good. I did like it, but again, it's just stuff we did last episode, only now it's, I like that we're cleaning up the mess of the other heroes. That's cool, but can only go so far. It was half the episode.
What my assumption would be is that they wanted to adapt that first half, but that whatever the next episode is needed to be a complete episode.
It definitely did, because it's a big episode. It's a big sequence.
And you know,
they had to cram something in
Episode 8 is always in a 26 episode series. Episode 8 is usually the turning point.
Did you notice at the end they say the name of the episode? I think it's called Curse Shield. It's called Curse Shield.
Oh, well, gonna learn some more about that, I guess. But yeah, I get the feeling that they were like, all right, well, we still have to do this last little adventure, but it won't take up the whole episode, so let's just make up some fucking waifu shit. People like waifu shit, and like, also, I mean, I've said already my piece about the animation in the show not being that great, but like, when the story also isn't great, you feel it that much harder.
That's
you
very
really
true.
Feel like,
very true.
I can sit through bullshit filler if it looks good. You know, if you make it pretty. I mean, if the waifus looked if they were drawing them really sexy in that fucking hot spring, I might be excited to see them in a hot spring, but they weren't.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah. It doesn't do much for me.
I really hope this picks up on Wednesday.
It will. The next episode, if it's anything like the manga, it should be certainly more interesting than what we saw today. And by the way, I just wanted to say that, like, people pointed out, and I did mean to mention a couple episodes ago, there was a little scene where, like, there were rumors flying around about, like, what the other heroes are doing. And, like, one of them was, like, you know, the spear hero saved a village from a famine. How cool. The fucking sword guy was off slaying dragons. Ooh, how impressive. And then something more mysterious about the arrow guy. And lo and behold, I mean, we dealt with the fucking overgrowth thing here with the spear guy. We see at the very end of the episode, we see a flash to what looks like a dead dragon. How interesting. Who the fuck knows what the arrow guy's doing. But, hey, cool. It did, in fact, foreshadow things that were going to be relevant to the story. Dope.
Yeah.
Well done,
nice.
show.
All right.
I don't know. That's it.
Well, yeah, looking forward to next week. This week was not great, but whatever. These things happen.
Agreed.
All right, everybody. See you on Wednesday.
See you then. Bye.